AJ Amyx. He's from Fort Worth, Texas. He runs Entrepreneur Uprising and works with entrepreneurs making six figures, so incredibly established entrepreneurs. And me and AJ are in a mastermind together, and I've learned a lot from him over the last few weeks. And so I wanted to collaborate with you and hear more about your perspective on consciousness, on awareness, on money, on sales, on business, because I know that you have some ways of doing business that are very powerful. And I think that more people need to hear about them.
Welcome back to the Dave Gold Evolve podcast, where industry leaders in the spiritual, dating, and business world help you truly evolve your life. Now welcome to your host, Dave Gold.
So we titled this live stream Conscious Wealth Creation, but just before we jumped on the call, you told me that wealth creation isn't always conscious. So can you tell me a little bit more about that? Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, dude. First of all, thanks for having me. And yes, because here's the point. Wealth is like creating wealth, making money. It has nothing to do with consciousness. There are lots of people who do very well, and they do fantastic in creating wealth because they follow the laws of money. They follow the natural laws of money. It has nothing to do with fucking consciousness. Like, it's literally like, all right, the principle of value exchange. Like, I'm giving like Burt's Bees chapstick, right? I don't know what you pay for this anymore. It used to be like $2.73 or something, but with inflation, maybe it's $4 or $5 now. I don't know what it costs, right? But if I give, let's say $5 to keep the math easy. If I give you $5 for Burt's Bees chapstick, and let's say somebody made it for $1, but they're selling it for $5, so they have a profit margin maybe of $4. I'm saying, hey, the value I get of putting this on my lips is worth way more to me than $5. And Burt's Bees, the company, is saying, well, your $5 for this is worth way more to us than this chapstick. So there's a value exchange. That has nothing to do with consciousness. That's the principle of value exchange. Another law of money is just like supply and demand, right? Like, there's all of these different natural laws with money. And as long as somebody is following natural laws of business, like solving problems, that has nothing to do with consciousness, because there's a lot of people who don't increase their levels of consciousness, but their bank account's increasing and they're unhappy, they're unfulfilled, they're constantly looking outside of themselves to satisfy this hole in their heart. Their relationships are all kinds of broken. Their relationships with their kids is all about domination, not connection. Like, it has nothing to do with consciousness. And yet on the flip side, we also have a lot of conscious people who won't follow the principles and the laws that govern money because they want to hide behind their bullshit of consciousness, and they're fucking broke. So it's not like, oh, well, I must find myself to be conscious, and in the result, I will make money. It's like, no, it's the and also. It's not you're either conscious or you have money, or you have money and you're not. It's like the and also. Conscious wealth is like, cool. How do I follow the laws and the principles that govern money? And also, how do I take responsibility to tap into my own consciousness and increase that level of consciousness for self? And then how do I marry those two worlds together so I can be an enterprising entrepreneur solving problems where I'm living out my purpose in that, and I'm getting paid what I want to get paid and what I feel like the amount of value I'm adding to the world. And that's what it's really about. I think the people who want conscious wealth, I think the question they're really asking is like, how do I come home to who I truly am? And how do I get paid for my zone of genius? Or how do I get paid for the gift that I feel called to bring to humanity? Like, how do I marry those two things together? I think that's the real conversation, or the real question that we're asking when we're looking at conscious wealth creation. You get what I'm saying?
I definitely get what you're saying. And it's one of the reasons why we're going to have you as a guest speaker on the Aligned Leader Mastermind on Monday, where we'll be breaking off into our week on consciousness and alignment. But at the same time, one of the reasons why I created this program is because I wanted there to be a balance between thinking about making sales, building your personal brand and marketing yourself, but also doing it in a way that is aligned with you and in a way where you're actually thinking about the things that you're doing. You're not just doing them robotically. And so what I've seen in my, few years as an online entrepreneur is just what you were talking about, that most of the time these programs, and I am starting to meet guys like you and other conscious coaches that have really nice approaches, but the majority take an extreme. It's either all in on lead generation and how do I follow up and just hit people up over and over and over again until I make X amount of money per month, or how do I love myself, but I'm doing that and I'm still not actually living the life of my dreams. And so there is this balance here where you can find the happy medium. And I think, you have your challenges and whatnot in life with your family and everything that you're going through, but you also are able to maintain a certain amount of balance between personal development, personal growth, but also the responsibility of having that, understanding of the natural laws of money and what it takes to generate value in return for the value that you're putting out. And that's something that, I've been really focused on the last few years as well, is increasing the level of value. Okay. So that when I create an offer, when I go to connect with someone who's interested in what I do, that they're a hell yes, that they want to invest, that they want to provide. Because what I've seen time and time and time again is that there are a lot of people out there who say they want to make a change, but it isn't until they actually make the investment and put some skin in the game that they actually take it seriously, and then the change comes to fruition. What do you think?
Yes, there's two thoughts on this. One is people, two things. One is people will not get the transformation or get the change unless they have skin in the game. And there's some truth to that. There is some truth to that. However, there's also a lot of people who invest and they still don't get transformation, right? So it's not like the answer. And on the other side of that, there is if you create strong agreements and you're creating a space of radical responsibility and radical commitment, and you're being that, you can't hold people to that unless you're being that. But if you're being that, and then you have clear agreements with the people that are coming into your product or your program or your service, and there's agreements around this, then more times than not, those are the people who are going to uphold and play full out, because there were agreements, there was a container, there was a sacredness, if we want to call it that. Really, it's just an agreement of, hey, here's the rules of playing this game. This is the principles of playing with me. Can we make an agreement that we're going to play in this way? And it can't be bullshit. It can't just be things that you've created tactically, that is important, but it's more about the way of being that you're being as a leader to lead the customers, to lead the clients, right? And as a result, if there's an agreement to that, my experience has been people come along and follow and be with the leader and they get results. And if they don't, if they drop off for some reason, then it's a conversation of, hey, remember when we had that conversation and you agreed to play full out? Oh yeah. Yeah, you're not playing full out. So what are we going to do about this? What's really going on? Now we're just aligning to the truth of the agreement and the principles of playing. It's not just about the investment. Now, on the other side of that, it's a bit of a paradox. For some people, yeah, they're not going to show up unless they're fully committed. And oftentimes for a lot of people, the investment they're making is going to make them fully committed. If they're making $1 million a year and you're like, yo, it's $500 a month to join my program, for somebody who's making $1 million a year, that amount of money, even if you have a way of being to give massive value and transformation, potentially may not put them in enough financial pain for them to actually show up. But even if you charge $3,000 a month, maybe they would show up, but without the way of being to the leader, that the leader's showing up, and without the principles of playing, there still may be a discrepancy in actually the results. So it's really kind of taking both of these things and then implementing that in how we're leading a program or a product or a service. Does that make sense?
You know, Jim Rohn said, if you're not willing to risk the unusual, you'll have to settle for the ordinary. And a lot of people, they'll make that initial commitment or sign that agreement, but in a few weeks or a few months, they'll go back to being their old self. And they won't actually step into the new identity that it took probably you or me. Like even today, I said to AJ before we jumped on, you know, I don't really like going live on Facebook on my profile. I prefer doing it on my Facebook group, or, you know, sometimes people see me create content and they think that I've been doing it for very long and that it's very easy for me, but actually it's not. You know, I don't like getting in front of the camera all the time, but it's an identity shift that took place because I decided to commit to being a leader in my space. I decided I wanted to lead by example. And the only way I was going to get there was by doing it consistently in one form or another. There's a lot of forms that you can do it, right? There's a lot of different ways that you can impact people or create income in your life. You know, you don't need to be a coach or consultant or an online entrepreneur. You can also be an employee. That's fine too. You don't need to create content on Facebook. You could do short form content on TikTok or on Instagram, or you could just create blog posts on Medium or on LinkedIn. Okay, or, you know, have some great answers on Quora, but leading by example and showing up and not just putting the money in the pot and expecting that you're going to get this transformation given to you on a silver platter, that you're actually going to have to put in the work. And so we're going to be talking more about this if you are watching this live stream, and we're going to go a little bit deeper as well into sales psychology, which AJ, I would say, is a master on sales psychology, telling you about how to own your voice and asking the right questions and getting to a place where you get strong commitments from people. We're going to be doing this on Monday. It's going to be at 4 p.m. EST. That's New York time. So you can put into Google what time zone you're in the world. And if you're not in the mastermind, you can hit me up and I'll give you more of the details if you'd like to attend the call. We're just doing like a little bit of a precursor to the call right now. And I wanted to get you guys a little bit of a sample what AJ is like, what his energy is like, and what he's kind of talking about.
Dude, it's gonna be fun Monday. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fire. I don't even know what I'm gonna say yet, but it'll be good. Like, it's gonna be good. And I think we'll probably be doing like Ask Me Anything or Q&A or that type of stuff too.
So on the mastermind calls, we always do a time for a hot seat. So Brilliant. If I saw a post on Facebook a few weeks ago of someone that was really frustrated with mastermind experiences these days, because a lot of the time they get in and all they do is listen and they don't really get much of a chance to speak. Yeah, I guess that happens. That's out there. It sucks. But in ALM, what the program is all about is empowerment. So I work with people that are very different from AJ, guys who are really just looking to get their first few clients or hit that 5K mark or 10K mark for the first time. We have guys who are hitting their, you know, Instagram Reels bonuses and creating their programs right now and having really awesome launches and challenges, and that's going really well for them. But at the same time, I think that what is consistent in a lot of online entrepreneurs is this scarcity mindset. And what ends up happening is you carry this into your messaging. You carry this into your enrollment calls. And it even shows up in your content where you don't sound confident. You don't sound secure in what you're actually saying. And so what we're going to be doing on Monday is getting all that bullshit out the way and speaking the truth so that you can start making a massive leap in your sales process in a conscious way. And it sounds maybe esoteric for some of you guys that are super logical, that are caught up in your head and that have been just looking for systems and strategies and techniques. But, you know, AJ, like what's been your result in your life doing it in a more conscious way and operating sales from this paradigm, and what's been the results of some of your clients as well?
So it's really embodying this principle that the frequency of the messenger is always greater than the message. And that's
And actually, I just wanted to jump in, like that is the reason why we decided to collaborate, because AJ, he made a comment to me and he said, the frequency of the messenger is always greater than the message. Not saying messaging isn't important, but the frequency of the messenger is what moves the needle. And I love that. That hit home right in my heart.
And so this comes back to like your way of being. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they make the mistake of like, okay, what's the things I need to do? What's the things I need to do? What's the things I need to do? Surely, if I'm going to have more results, then I need to do the right things in the right order or do more of the right things, right? But the thing is that's like a finite game, because at the end of the day, you can only do so many things. We all have 24 hours and we could do as many of the things that we want to do in those 24 hours. But at some point, the game becomes, I legitimately cannot do any more things. So we hire, we get more people. It's still at the end of the day, even the whole team, they can only do so many things. So at some point, we have to come home to the truth is like, oh, the thing that moves the needle is like, who am I being in the midst of the thing I'm doing? So what are the results? The results is you're able to create more results with less effort. The results are my clients making millions of dollars a year. Some of them make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Different people are at different places in their journey, right? But regardless, whatever your dream destination is, different things for different people. I'm not even going to sit here and tell you what your dream destination should be, because there is no should. There is just like whatever it is that your essence, your soul is pulling you or calling you to, whatever that is, different things for different people. But the real questions to ask is once you get clear on that, is like, who would that person be being? Not what would they be doing? I mean, we can do that. I mean, there's plenty of masterminds and tool, like you can go find the program. It's all online. Probably I'll find all the information on YouTube for free, potentially, if you really want to spend time, or on Medium. But the better question to be asking, encourage you, is like, who would I be being? Who would that person be being? And then align with the truth. Who are you being now? What would it take for you to start being that in the midst of the things that you're doing? And I'm going to have you consider, when you can make that shift, everything changes. Everything changes for the better, because you're actually just living and being who you're innately born to be, you. Creating your purpose in life, whatever that is for you. Different things for different people. Does that make sense, David?
I would say that one of the reasons why we create these programs, AJ, and we do these calls is because, sure, you can go off and try to find that information on YouTube and on Medium and whatnot, but when you get onto a call with other people who are focused on the same thing that you're focused on, and maybe they're at a different place in the journey, maybe a little bit further ahead than you start to pick up on their frequency, and you can raise and elevate your energy to be more in alignment with theirs. You can mirror their tone, their body language, their eye contact, their tonality, and how fast they're speaking, and the things that they're saying and the words that they're using.
Yep,
and if you do that, and if you do that, you can get so much out of a coaching call, a mastermind experience, a brotherhood, and it really can be transformational, but it's up to you to decide how deep you want to go and how much accountability and responsibility you want to take to make that change in your life. If you're resonating with the stuff that we talked about today and you want to experience it live on a call on Monday, where you might even get a chance to speak with me or AJ about some of the issues that you might be having, or the barrier that's holding you back from having that breakthrough, whether it's your first client, your first 10 or 20K month, or your first 7-figure year, like what AJ does with some of his clients, then drop us a message with the word align, and let us know, why you want to attend the call and if you'd like to have a conversation about it. So it's been a pleasure doing this little live with you today, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday for the mastermind call.
Me too, homie. Thank you so much.
All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.